everyone, this is Kimberly. Welcome back to my channel. Today, there's a very special guest. It's Walter Kim. Hi, I want to say hi to everyone.
Hello.
Hello. So, Walter Kim is actually my boyfriend.
Since we are both living in the US and my friends all want to know how we can enjoy a great time in the US during pandemic, so this is the topic for today.
How to stay safe and enjoy our relationship during the pandemic. Yep. Okay. So, I think we can first talk about how can we make sure that we had a good time here during Eid.
Right. So
yeah.
All restaurants are open now, pretty much, but are mandated by the county to do for the workers to wear masks and to do a little bit of social distancing. There was some alternation between dining out or takeout only and then dining outside only, and now it's pretty much all indoors due to economic reasons. So pretty much everything looks normal, but it's the National Health Authority, the CDC and Department of Health and Human Services, National Institutes of Health have all kind of recommended that it's probably not really ideal to be able to eat indoors inside of a restaurant. So we live with, my dad is kind of an at-risk demographic, so we try to, I think we've only eaten at one restaurant indoors and there was pretty much no one there this entire time that Kimberly has been here. So we don't eat at restaurants at all pretty much. We do take out only when we want to eat out, and then the rest of the time we cook.
And I do want to mention is that we wear 2 masks, right? Most of the time we wear 2 masks. The first one we wear would be an N95 mask, and then we'll wear another surgical mask whenever we were outside.
Right. So the reason we do that is because the N95 is basically the highest quality mask you can buy, an N95 or a P99, which is kind of like an oil resistant one. But N95s are really hard to come by in the United States because they're prioritized for healthcare workers, which they should be. Kimberly's family was gracious enough to be able to send some from a limited number from Taiwan that we use that we think have really gotten us out of some high-risk situations that we didn't, were less than ideal. But they should be kind of prioritized for healthcare workers, and because there is kind of a national shortage. But the reason we wear 2 masks is because the surgical one we would assume at the end of the day is contaminated, so it's easy to be able to take that off, throw that away, and generally keep the N95 underneath clean, and then just put on a new surgical mask. Yeah,
so going back to eating, what we usually would do is we would order from Deliveroo, or sometimes I would order from Uber Eats, not oftentimes, but we would order pickup or delivery. So if we order pickup, we would wear the surgical mask and N95 mask, and then we go there and pick it up. As soon as we go back to our place, what we'll do is he would tell us to wash our hands. Right. 20 seconds, right?
So wearing, in addition to wearing masks, I think it's generally advised, even outside of a pandemic, to really wash your hands well when you come back home, because you don't know what kind of germs you're bringing back home, and then touching, you know, toys and faucets and loved ones and things like that. So it's generally advisable to wash your hands for 20 seconds, which is the official recommendation from the CDC. Use soap. It can be antimicrobial, it could just be general, you know, hand soap or house soap. Anything pretty much works. Scrub under your fingernails, your palms, the back of your hands, and just make sure it's good for 20 seconds, which is about the happy birthday song 2 times.
Happy birthday to you,
that's right.
Like that.
And then once you're done, make sure when you rinse, all the soap is off. No soap is visible afterward, and then dry your hands.
And I forgot to mention that he would always, if I go out or if he goes out of the car, as soon as we go back to the car, he would always spray with the alcohol.
Yeah, so we have a 70% isopropyl alcohol, or any kind of hand sanitizer works. At the beginning of the pandemic, hand sanitizer was extremely limited. We just got back from a store where we saw a whole shelf of mainstream brand hand sanitizer. I think kind of the supply chain and the manufacturing has finally caught up with the national shortage, and they're being able to replenish just general people outside of healthcare workers. But we generally sanitize our hands when we get back into the car from a restaurant or a store or anywhere else, and then we wash them again when we get back home.
And you always use, he's an expert on this. I forgot to mention that he drove from California to Georgia back and forth twice because he didn't want to take a plane.
So 4 trips total, and that was earlier in the pandemic, once in May and another in September. And the reason that was because one, I think just airline tickets in general were becoming very expensive because nobody was flying, and they wanted to kind of make up for the loss of revenue by increasing each ticket price. And then the second reason was I had the time, and the third reason was we didn't know enough about the pandemic back in May and April that we weren't really sure you know, how transmissible it was and how bad it was. Testing wasn't readily available in the United States because it's hard to get things in the United States sometimes, believe it or not. So it was best to just kind of drive and avoid people at the airport and avoid hotels and stuff like that. So I actually slept in my car 2 or 3 nights in a row, which was an interesting experience.
Pictures here, some very beautiful pictures that he took on the way here as well.
If you've never seen the American West, it's a really beautiful sight to see. It's mostly desert west of Texas, but it's there's some quite amazing scenes out there and a lot of good kind of nature-related locations to be able to camp at.
So if you have time and if you have a car, feel free to drive if you're very scared of getting COVID. And apart from that, let's talk about some shopping part.
Coronavirus fatigue this far into the pandemic, if you go into stores and groceries, well, groceries are pretty much essential, but other retail stores and non-essential stores, it's pretty much at regular capacity as it would be outside of the pandemic, because people are just kind of getting tired and just going into stores. Even if they wear masks and stuff like that, there's still a good number of people anywhere. So we try to avoid, unless it's absolutely necessary, going to stores when we don't have to. And we generally shop, like for instance, the local grocery store here is Publix. We'll go early in the morning or late at night, but there are some stores that actually reserved very early morning times for seniors and at-risk people, like sometimes around 7 or 8 a.m. So we try not to go at that time. We try to kind of reserve that capacity for at-risk individuals.
Right. And talking about another part, living, since we live with his dad, so there's another precaution that needs to be made because family is important. So what I did was, as soon as I came here, even though the US did not forcefully having people to quarantine for 14 days, I still gave myself some time to quarantine before meeting people like you or your dad.
Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of countries are doing this, rightfully so, and that is forcing or even fining or going so far as to imprison people if they break quarantine. And that is, if anyone comes into the country from a foreign place, especially the United States, that country will try to keep you in quarantine for 2 weeks, which is the longest incubation period generally people have seen. And that's what Kimberly did. So when she came here from Taiwan, even though Taiwan is a significantly safer country to be in this pandemic, she did travel on an airplane and see 2 or 3 airports. So she actually stayed in her room, and we brought her food for 2 weeks, and she just really left to either go outside or go to the bathroom. So it's very tough, I think. It was quite difficult, and it could be quite difficult anywhere where you do that, but we do see it as necessary. Desperate times call for desperate action. So
yeah. Okay. And how did we talked about a lot of things about like being safe, but at the same time, how did we even have fun during our time of being safe as well in the pandemic? Let's talk about like 3 tips. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll talk about the first one and taking turns.
Okay.
Okay. So for me, I think what we had for fun is we never forgot about holiday vibes. So the very fun thing that came across is that I happened to be here around holiday times, which is like Halloween season, and then Thanksgiving, and then Christmas, and then New Year. So it's the greatest time ever of all year, and I happened to not miss all of them. So what we did was that we did celebrate all these holidays by like really, if there's still kids coming during holiday during Halloween by the time. So if there are kids coming, then we prepare candies for them. You can look at the picture here. However, we stayed like 6 feet. He prepared something that's like very special, like a long stick long stick that's around 60 so that they could stay apart but still get our candies. And then we also bought our own Christmas tree, and then we celebrated Christmas, and for Thanksgiving we really prepared our own Thanksgiving dinner. Instead of going to some other places, we celebrated in our own place with like all of us here inside the house, although there are not a lot of people, but we still celebrated it together happily. So I think it's a great thing that we did those kinds of things, and I think that really brought us joy.
Yeah.
Wait, but you haven't talked about your joy. Like, did you have fun during the pandemic?
I think my biggest thing that I could enjoy during the pandemic was probably outdoorsy stuff. So we did a lot of camping and hiking, which is pretty much all we could do at the beginning of the pandemic. And I think a lot of other Americans probably were thinking the same thing, because when you went to the camping section or sporting goods section of certain stores and you try to look for supplies, sometimes things like fuel were always out, because people, you know, in the height of the summer, in the height of the pandemic, that's really all they knew they could do safely. So yeah, we did camping 4 times this year, which is a record actually, twice with Kimberly and twice just with my dad. I think that was my favorite part so far.
Yeah, we went to several places. I think the 2 trips I went with you, I think both of them were in Tennessee, or one of them were in Georgia.
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome. I think if you guys are interested in any camping stuff, let us know. We can film another video. Yeah, but basically that's it. I also enjoyed that a lot as well. And for me, I think the third thing that we want to share is cooking. I think cooking is definitely a silver lining that I learned in 2020. Before coming here, I did not know how to cook at all. Like, I hands down did not know how to cook. Good thing for me to learn. So I came here, and then I don't know, like, did I become a great cook?
Kimberly's added a lot of flair in the kitchen, and she's always excited, especially in the morning, to make us breakfast. So she always thinks of something creative, and it's always different. So that's really good, and I think I've learned a lot, and it's become a newfound skill for her.
Yeah, so I think that's it. Okay, so if you guys have any other questions, let us know, and hope you guys find it helpful. If you guys are traveling to the US and still wanting to stay safe, or just want to let you guys know that we've been here, and yeah, so everything will be all right.
Yeah. Have hope and have faith.
Okay, so I'll see you guys next time. If you guys have any other questions, let me know by commenting me or just like DMing me. Okay, I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Bye.